Aliko Dangote, Africa's wealthiest industrialist, has stated that he's eyeing Kenya as a site of a huge $17 billion.
Aliko Dangote started his empire with a $3,000 loan from his uncle. Today, he is the head of the richest black family in Dubai. A 6,180-acre site on the Lagos waterfront, the largest single-train oil refinery ever built on Earth, not in America, not in the Middle East, but in Africa. A cement empire spanning 11 countries with 55 million tons of production capacity per year. A net worth Bloomberg places at over $30 billion, the first African ever to cross that threshold. And a family office in Dubai, operated from the same address for 17 years, now run by his daughter Halima, who relocated there in 2024 to manage the next chapter of a dynasty that traces back to a man who was the richest person in all of West Africa in 1955. That man is his great-grandfather. This dynasty did not begin with Aliko Dangote. It began long before him, and it will not end with him either. The origin. The city is Kano, northern Nigeria, a place with 1,000 years of commercial history behind it. A crossroads of trans-Saharan trade routes, a market city, a place where wealth was built long before European colonizers named it, mapped it, and tried to extract it. It is in Kano that the story of the richest black family in Dubai begins, not in 1977, when Aliko Dangote started his first company, not in 2003 when the Obajana cement plant opened. In 1877, when a boy named Alhassan Dantata was born in Bebeji, in the Kano Emirate, to a family of Agalawa, the hereditary long-distance traders of the Hausa Empire. Alhassan Dantata's early life was marked by loss and hardship that would have ended the ambitions of a lesser person. His father died when he was young. His mother left for Accra. He lived for a period as an almajiri, a Quranic student who worked for food, and gave a portion of his earnings to his teacher. He learned to save. He learned the trade routes. And then, over the decades that followed, he built a commercial empire that stretched from the kola nut forests of the Gold Coast to the groundnut markets of northern Nigeria, reaching into Europe and accumulating a fortune so vast that the Kano Native Administration eventually gave up trying to catalog it. Estimates placed his estate at over £300,000 sterling at the time of his death in 1955, a figure that, in real terms, represented a fortune few individuals on the continent had ever accumulated. At the moment of his death, Alhassan Dantata was the richest person in all of West Africa. Aliko Dangote was born 2 years later, in 1957. He never met his great-grandfather, but he inherited everything the old man had built, not financially, but structurally. The understanding that commerce is not a profession, but a birthright, that the accumulation of wealth is inseparable from the feeding of communities, that old money is not made in a single generation. It is made in 3, in 4, in 5, each one building on what the last one left behind. His father, Mohammed Dangote, died when Aliko was just 8 years old, the same age at which the young Aliko was already selling boiled sweets to his schoolmates at a markup, pocketing the profits and reinvesting them. At 8 years old, in the ancient commercial city of Kano, a boy who had just lost his father was already running a margin business. His maternal grandfather, Sanusi Dantata, son of the great Alhassan, stepped in to raise him. He would later describe Sanusi as the most important figure in shaping his sense of what commerce could accomplish. He completed his secondary education at Government College, Birnin Kudu, in 1978. He then went to Egypt to Al-Azhar University in Cairo, one of the oldest universities in the world, where he studied business studies and administration. He came back to Lagos in 1977 with a degree, a vision, and a $3,000 loan from his uncle, Usman Amaka Dantata. That loan would become the seed capital of the largest black-owned business empire on Earth. The foundation where it all started. $3,000. That is what he started with. $3,000, a trading license, and the discipline of a man raised by a family that had been building wealth for a century before he was born. In 1977, he founded the Dangote Group as a commodities trading enterprise, importing sugar, cement, rice, salt, and food products for distribution across the Nigerian market. He moved to Lagos, the commercial engine of the country, and operated with a singular strategic clarity: find what the country needs most and own the supply chain. In the mid to late 1970s, during what became known as the Nigerian Cement Armada, a period in which the federal government authorized the importation of approximately 16 million metric tons of cement for national infrastructure projects, Dangote secured an import license. Ships stacked with cement filled Lagos harbor, some stranded for months, some reportedly sinking. Importers collected demurrage fees. Dangote acquired trucks. He built a cargo transportation business. He did not just trade the cement, he controlled the movement of it. That is not trading. That is vertical integration. The first version of a strategy that would define every major business decision he made for the next 5 decades. By the mid-1990s, he had studied something that would reshape his entire model. He looked at Brazil. He looked at how that country had industrialized, converting from importing finished goods to producing them domestically at scale, and he decided that Nigeria needed to do the same. The pivot from trading to manufacturing was the moment that transformed the Dangote Group from a wealthy business into a national institution. In 1999, Dangote Sugar's local refinery began production, ending the group's dependence on imported sugar. A flour mill followed. A pasta plant followed that. And then, in 2002, the group acquired the Obajana land in Kogi State from the state government and began construction of a cement plant that would rewrite the industrial record books of sub-Saharan Africa. The rise. The Obajana cement plant opened in 2008 with 2 production lines and a combined capacity of 5 million tons per annum. In the same year of its opening, it was already the largest cement factory in sub-Saharan Africa. Dangote did not stop there. By 2012, a 3rd line had been added. By 2014, a 4th. By 2020, a 5th. Obajana today operates at 16.2 to 5 million tons of annual capacity across those 5 lines. Supported by a fleet of 2,370 trucks and sitting on limestone reserves of 647 million tons, enough to sustain operations for approximately 45 years. In 2009, Dangote Cement was listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. His controlling stake, 87.4 to 5%, instantly became one of the most valuable equity positions held by any individual on the African continent. Its market capitalization grew to represent nearly 20% of the entire Nigerian Stock Exchange's total capitalization. Not a sector, the entire exchange. From that base, Dangote Cement expanded across Africa with a speed and scale that redefined what was possible for a Black-owned manufacturing business. Today, the company operates in 11 African countries: Nigeria, Cameroon, Congo, Ethiopia, Ghana, Senegal, Sierra Leone, South Africa, Tanzania, Zambia, and Ivory Coast, with a total installed production capacity of 55 million tons per annum. In the first quarter of 2026, the company grew its cement and clinker exports by 71.6% year-on-year, completing 10 clinker shipments from Nigeria to neighboring markets. Revenue for the group exceeds $3 billion per year. But cement, for all its scale, is the foundation, not the ceiling. The ceiling is oil. The ceiling is the Dangote Petroleum Refinery. Located within the Lekki Free Trade Zone in Lagos State, on a 6,180-acre site that is an area larger than the entire island of Manhattan, the Dangote Refinery was officially commissioned on May 22, 2023, and began commercial operations in January 2024. Initial investment exceeded $19 billion, making it one of the most expensive private industrial projects in world history. Its design capacity is 650,000 barrels of crude oil per day, making it the largest single-train refinery ever built on Earth. The Nelson Complexity Index, the measure of a refinery's technical sophistication, rates the Dangote facility at 10.5. The average American refinery scores 9.5. The average European refinery scores 6.5. Nigeria built a refinery that is technically more complex than almost anything operating in the West. By August of 2025, the refinery had reached an output of 610,000 barrels per day. In October of 2025, Dangote announced plans to expand capacity to 1.4 million barrels per day, an expansion that, if completed, would make the Dangote Refinery the single largest oil refinery on Earth, surpassing the Reliance Jamnagar complex in India, currently the world leader. The refinery's power generation is planned to rise from 500 megawatts to 1,000 megawatts. The expansion would create 65,000 jobs, with 85% of the workforce being Nigerian. The refinery is already supplying approximately 80% of Nigeria's domestic fuel demand. It has begun exporting refined petroleum products, internationally diesel and jet fuel, to Ghana, Cameroon, Togo, Tanzania, and the United States. Nigeria, which for decades exported crude oil only to import the refined products back at a premium, has, under Dangote's refinery, begun its transformation into a net exporter of refined petroleum. That transformation has one architect. Bloomberg estimates the refinery alone accounts for $18.6 billion of Dangote's net worth. The Empire Dubai and the Global Family Office. The Dangote Group is headquartered in Lagos, but the family's wealth management infrastructure runs through Dubai, and it has for 17 years. This is not new. Dangote has maintained a business office in Dubai since the mid-2000s, a strategic position that placed him at the crossroads of African capital, Middle Eastern sovereign wealth, and Asian manufacturing supply chains long before Dubai's family office boom made the arrangement fashionable. When the number of registered foundation vehicles in Dubai rose by 53% in a single year, as tracked by the Dubai International Financial Center, the Dangote family was already in residence. In August of 2024, Halima Dangote, the second of Aliko's three daughters, relocated to Dubai to formally establish and lead the Dangote family office, operating from the group's existing Dubai premises. The family office's mandate is expansive: global co-investment opportunities, diversification beyond industrials, and strategic partnerships with families, institutions, and firms that bring specialized expertise in sectors where the Dangote Group is not yet the dominant player. Among its early investments, a stake in Altera Capital Partners, an Africa-focused private equity fund, spun out of Carlyle Group, and a position in Gateway Partners, an emerging markets manager founded in 2014. Halima Dangote is not a figurehead. She is, by verified accounts, the operational mind behind the family's next-generation wealth architecture. She brings a degree in business and international relations and a decade of experience within the Dangote Group's strategic operations. Dubai's appeal is structural: zero income tax, zero capital gains tax, strategic location across 3 time zones connecting Africa, Asia, and Europe, and a government that has made attracting family offices from high-net-worth individuals its explicit policy priority. Beyond the Dubai family office, the Dangote asset base is diverse in ways the headline numbers only begin to capture. He holds a controlling stake in Dangote Sugar, which operates the largest sugar refinery in sub-Saharan Africa, with production capacity of 800,000 tons per year. He controls Nascon Allied Industries, Nigeria's dominant salt processing company. He holds significant stakes in Dangote Flour Mills and the United Bank for Africa. His oil mining licenses, OML 71 and 72, are valued at an estimated $497 million. His fertilizer plant, the Dangote Fertilizer Company, one of the largest in Africa, is valued at an estimated $3.0 to $2 billion. His real estate holdings in Lagos are valued at $148 million. His land in the Lekki Free Trade Zone is valued at $100 million. He holds an estimated $744 million in cash. His fleet of private jets, according to Bloomberg, is valued at $76 million. And his daughter is in Dubai, building the next chapter. The legacy play. Wealth of this scale produces a question that every generation of the Dantata Dangote dynasty has had to answer. What do you do with it? The answer, across 150 years, has been consistent. You return it. Not all of it, not weakly, but substantially, deliberately, and in ways that outlast the individuals who make the decision. Alhassan Dantata financed the Hajj pilgrimages of other Muslims to Mecca throughout his lifetime. a tradition that his descendants, including Aliko Dangote, continue to this day. When a famine struck Sokoto in the 1940s, Dantata sent surplus grain. When a famine hit Katsina, he sent 10,000 sacks. His private philanthropy ran alongside his private commerce, and neither was subordinate to the other. Aliko Dangote formalized that tradition in 1994 when he incorporated the Dangote Foundation, renamed the Aliko Dangote Foundation in 2018. The ADF's stated commitments exceed $1.2 to $5 billion across health, education, and economic development initiatives in Nigeria and across Africa. Its core focus has been on childhood malnutrition in northern Nigeria, a crisis that has killed more children than any single conflict in the region, as well as disease eradication, specifically polio, Ebola, and the COVID-19 response. The foundation partnered with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation on its polio eradication program, contributing resources to one of the most successful public health campaigns in West African history. During Nigeria's cholera outbreak in 2019, Dangote and his organization contributed to emergency response. In 2020, he joined the global COVID-19 relief effort, channeling food and medical supplies into vulnerable communities. In 2024, the foundation expanded its food distribution program in response to Nigeria's rising cost of living crisis, targeting vulnerable households across northern Nigeria. He constructed a hostel complex at Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria in 2019, reportedly capable of accommodating 2,160 students. He has funded school infrastructure for primary schools in the Lagos State Free Trade Zone through Dangote Fertilizer's corporate social responsibility program. In 2025, Dangote announced plans to list the refinery on the Nigerian Stock Exchange in 2026, explicitly to give ordinary Nigerians the opportunity to become shareholders in the continent's most valuable industrial asset. The man who started a company with a $3,000 loan is now designing the architecture through which millions of Nigerians can own a piece of the infrastructure their country runs on. That is the blueprint. That is what intergenerational Black economic power looks like when it is built correctly. The life now. He is 68 years old. He is a practicing Muslim, a holder of the Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, Nigeria's second highest national honor, awarded to him in 2011 by President Goodluck Jonathan. He was named one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people in the world in 2014. He appears regularly at Davos, at the World Economic Forum, at the US-Africa Summit, at the Africa CEO Forum. He has been a member of Nigeria's economic management team. He holds board positions and advisory roles across continental and international institutions. He is a supporter of Arsenal Football Club. He has 4 children, 3 daughters, and an adopted son, Abdul Rahman. His daughter Halima runs the Dubai office. His daughter Maria is involved in the family's broader interests. He has 5 grandchildren. He has said, in multiple public forums, that his motivation is not the accumulation of wealth for its own sake. He has said that he is driven by impact, by what the cement plants and the refineries and the fertilizer facilities and the sugar factories mean for the hundreds of thousands of Nigerians who work in them, sell through them, and build lives adjacent to the infrastructure he has created. The Dangote Group employs over 30,000 people directly. The full economic footprint suppliers, distributors, logistics operators, retailers runs into the millions. He is a man who sells boiled sweets at a profit at age 8, whose great-grandfather was the richest man in West Africa in 1955, and whose daughter now runs a global family office in Dubai. That is 4 generations, unbroken, compounding. 6,180 acres, 55 million tons of cement, $30 billion, the wealthiest Black man alive on Earth. None of it came from spectacle. It came from reading what a continent needs and building the infrastructure to supply it. Sugar, flour, salt, cement, oil, the things that construct a country from the ground up. The Dantata Dangote story is old money, African money, Hausa merchant money, money that survived colonialism, survived the Naira's collapse, survived every obstacle placed in front of Black wealth. And not only survived, compounded. Halima Dangote did not move to Dubai to manage what her father built. She moved to build what comes next. 4 generations of intention, not a brand, an empire. The deed is the dynasty. The dynasty is still building. Which part of this story hit you hardest? The $3,000 loan, the refinery, or the daughter in Dubai? Drop it in the comments. If you are new here, subscribe and hit the notification bell. We cover Black wealth, ownership, and economic power every single week, from Lagos to London to Dubai. Click the video on your screen right now for more. The dynasty is not done. It is just getting started.